Hello and welcome to another video on simplifying using index laws. So this video is going to look at simplifying using these two laws down here. Okay, see that they have brackets? All right, in the last video, we looked at laws 1 and 2 where we're multiplying and dividing indices with the same base. But today, laws 3 and 4. So you might want to pause the video and attempt each of these questions and then see what I have to say about it. All right, so these are all of the index laws on one page and we're just making our way through in this series. Okay, first two questions. 4a squared cubed. All right, when I see these pair of brackets, you need to know that each of the terms in the brackets needs to be raised to that power. All right, so looking here, what laws might apply? So I know that there's brackets, so it's got to be through laws 3, 4, or 5. And I can see that it looks like laws 3 and 4. Sorry, the number in the brackets has to be raised to the power. Let's just do it. So 4 to the power of 3, a squared. And we're just going to keep that in brackets now. That's to the power of 3 too. Okay. It will make more sense as we go on. So 4 cubed, let's evaluate that. So I can put that in my calculator. 4 cubed is 64. Now what about a squared raised to the power of 3? Okay. So a squared raised to the power of 3. All right. Can you see that that corresponds to law 3? So we've just used our nice law 4. We're looking at law 3. A to the m raised to the power of n means you multiply those powers. So I can write that step in and then just simplify a little bit more. And that's our answer. All right, let's look at this one. So 5y in brackets squared. Okay, I know that each of the terms in this bracket must be raised to the power. If we come back down here, it looks most like law 4. Okay, each term must be raised to the power. So 5 squared, y squared. And then I can evaluate that a little bit because that's a normal number. 5 squared, 25y squared. Moving on, a little bit more complex. So on this side, expand using index laws. It's a pair of brackets raised to a power. A pair of brackets raised to a power, and so that corresponds to law 3 and 4. First step, let's expand the brackets, all right, and multiply those. And raise to the power of everything outside. It will make sense when I show you. 2 to the 5, x to the 3, and I know that it's being raised to that power, so I need to multiply. So that's going to be 3 times 5, and we'll have y to the 2 times 5. Now let's simplify it a bit. So this is a normal number raised to a power, so let's chuck that in our calculator. 32, x to the 15, y to the 10, and that's all you can do there. All right, let's check this one out. A pair of brackets raised to a power. So I know that everything in that bracket must be raised to that power. 5 to the 4, c to the squared. So if I look at it, c squared, that's what I'm seeing. C squared to the power of 4. I need to multiply those indices. See, okay, and then we got d to the 3 times 4. Simplify a bit more. 5 to the power of 4 in my calculator. 625. C to the 8. D to the 12. Moving on. All right. Sorry, itchy nose. Expand using index laws. All right, now we've got a number outside of the brackets this time. Okay, but if we're just confused what to do, think of BIDMAS. I'm just going to write BIDMAS up here. The order in which operations are performed. So that says brackets and indices come first. So let's just ignore this 9 out the front, write it straight down, and expand those brackets using our index laws. Okay, we've got a pair of brackets raised to a power. And that means everything in the brackets must be raised to that power. P to the 2 times 3, since if we're raising to a power, we multiply the powers. Powers is another word for indices, by the way. So we've got Q to the 4 times 3. And we're slowly working to expand those brackets. 9 to the P to the 6, Q to the 12. And then we can look at, so if something is written outside of a pair of brackets, there's a little invisible multiply sign. All right, so let's do it. This will be, so we just expand, right? Everything outside of the brackets. So all of these things are multiplied together. All right, next one. So again, there is a number out the front, but it's negative this time. So let's try it out. All right. BIDMAS says we've got to expand the brackets first. So ignore that -4 at the front and let's expand the brackets. P to the 4 squared, P to the 4 times 2. Q squared, R squared. Everything in the brackets raised to that power. Okay, again, simplify a bit by actually doing those little calculations. Now we can expand our brackets further. So there's a little invisible multiply sign. So all of these things being multiplied together. And that is that. Let's fly through it. Did we evaluate that? Yeah, everything is all good. And that is this -4, a negative times a positive is a negative. So that's why we've got our negative out the front. All right, so negatives can be a little bit confusing, but let's work with some more of them. All right, so I might just put a rectangle down to cover up those. So we have, all right, so we've got this one here. All right, negative outside of the brackets. All right, now BIDMAS again. BIDMAS says expand the brackets first. So this pair of brackets is raised to a power. Now I'm going to just write down that negative straight away and raise everything in the brackets to this power. So 3 to the 4, B to the 4. And we look here. Now 3 to the 4, 81. Straighten our calculator. B to the 4. And let's actually drag this down a bit. Okay, so there is an invisible 1 here, okay? -1 times whatever's in the brackets. So it's going to be negative times a positive, different signs, negative. So -81 B to the 4. All right, now, next one, -7 R cubed. Ignore the number out the front. We want to focus on expanding brackets. Okay, the number out the front means multiplying, so ignore it. And raise each number in that bracket to the power. And let's do it. 7 to the 3 in my calculator, 343 R cubed. And now we expand the brackets further. There's a little invisible -1 there. When a number's written next to a pair of brackets, it means multiply. So negative times a positive, different signs, -343 R cubed. Then let's look at a negative inside the brackets. So we might need a bit more space. I'm going to move that up. The negative is inside the brackets. All right, we know our index laws. Any number inside this bracket needs to be raised to the power, but you need to be extra careful when there's negatives raised to a power. Okay, because if you type in your calculator 2 cubed versus -2 in brackets cubed, you're going to end up with a negative number. But let's check this out. So -2 is raised to the power 4. What else have we got? H squared is raised to the 4. And in brackets, -2 to the 4 is 16. And when we've got power of a power, this rule here, we multiply those powers. 16 h to the 8. This one, every number in the brackets raised to the power. Be careful with negatives and put some brackets down. So -3 is raised to the 2, r is raised to the 2. -3 squared, -3 times -3 is +9 r squared. All right, I believe this is the last question on this page, so hang in there. Expand using index laws. So this one, we'll need our little thing here. This one's an interesting case, and it actually makes things really easy. So have a look at these index laws. Which one might apply? That's correct, the zero power law. Any number raised to the power of 0 is 1. Any number raised to the power of 0 is 1. Anything, all right, equals 1. That means that this must equal 1. So it's a lot easier than you think, right? And I think that's all I've got for you today. Next time, we're going to look at a few more problems, okay? Where we've got coefficients out the front, but I'll see you in the next video. Bye!